All right, so great to see everybody. Happy Thursday. Let's scoot forward in our chairs just a little bit so you can start to sit nice and tall. Peek down at your feet. Make sure that you're landing with your knees over your ankles. And then before we sit quietly here for a few moments, let's just give the shoulders a nice little roll out. And you can kind of pay attention to how your neck and shoulders are feeling. When we're like extra stressed, we tend to carry a little more tension there. Let's see, it's kind of like a good gauge to see where you might be. Sometimes it's surprising. And then let's go ahead and roll forward, which I think always feels kind of awkward, but it definitely warms the shoulder girdle up in a different way. Beautiful. And then let's just roll back again a few times and just really exaggerate that feeling of the shoulder heads pressing back, and then as they're dropping in, they're gently squeezing in towards each other. So kind of see what that feels like. And then we're gonna come to that place where the shoulder heads are pressing back, shoulder blades are gently squeezing in towards each other. You can take your hands on your thighs. And as you're rooting down into your sit bones, you're going to feel this lengthening through the sides of your waist. You're going to feel a little lift of your sternum. So it's almost like there's this little sense of back bend. You can allow your eyelids to close here. Take a nice, smooth, deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Let it go. We're going to do that a couple more times. So just at your pace, you're going to take a smooth, full, deep inhale. You're going to really fill up. You might pause there at the top for a moment, and then as you feel ready, you sigh the breath out, you let it go. So a few more of those, just at your pace. Good, and when you feel like you've done enough of those, you're gonna go ahead and seal your lips again. You're gonna start to inhale through your nose, and then also exhale through your nose. And starting out for the first few rounds, just keep that nice and easy. You're really going to bring your attention to that sound of your breath. So in this way, we start to use the breath as a tool to focus the mind. And if you wanted to move into your Ujjayi breath, you're going to kind of keep the same idea, lips are sealed, but you're going to find this feeling of constricting the sides of the throat a little bit. And so it's kind of that sensation that you get when you're fogging a mirror with your breath. It's going to sound like ocean waves in your throat, or that Darth Vader sound. So it's a little more than just breathing in and out. There's definitely a little bit of a sound. You don't need to overdo it. And this breath does have a heating quality in the body. So you might find that, hey, this isn't working for me today, or at some point during class as we move forward, you might want to let it go. That's absolutely fine. But let's just be here for a couple of moments, just soaking up the stillness, listening to your breath as much as possible. You're going to get distracted by sounds happening in the room you're in. You're going to get distracted by thoughts coming in and out of your mind. That's fine. When you become aware of the fact that your attention has drifted from your breath, though, just smile and start again. Couple more moments here. Just observe really quick, do a scan of your body. Have you started to grip anywhere that you don't need to? So are you clenching your fingers or toes? Is there tension in your face and jaw? Have those shoulders started to creep up around your ears? Sometimes the inner thigh, the groin can start to grip or pull a little bit. So as much as possible, you're trying to soften in those places. You could just visualize your breath going to those spots, creating a little space, a little ease. Good. From here, let's gently blink our eyes open. And then let's just keep our hands on our thighs. We're going to move into some cat-cow. So just some spinal flexion and extension to start to warm up the spine. So hands on your thighs. You're still pressing evenly into your sit bones. But as you inhale, you're going to rock forward on those sit bones. Shoulder heads press back, so there's a little back bend. So you're arching in your lumbar. And then as you exhale, you're going to move in the opposite direction. So chin will drop towards your chest. You're rounding in your spine, especially that upper spine. Inhaling, arching. Nice work. As you exhale, you round in. And we're going to continue like this. You're going to move with your breath. And you're paying attention to how the spine is feeling. So starting out, the movements might be really small. This might like just immediately feel really yummy in your body. So you kind of might go for it. So again, just paying attention to what you need, what feels right for you today. And just because it looked a certain way last week doesn't mean it's going to be the same today. If your eyes are open, you can just keep your gaze soft and gentle in front of you. You also are welcome to play with closing your eyes. Sometimes that helps us to get a little more internal. And even if you're feeling a little tighter today, there's some tension in the spine, perhaps with moving and breathing like this, connecting the two together, you're already starting to feel a little more ease. Good, let's inhale, come back to center. And then we're going to start to make some little circles. So you're going to just kind of rock around in that pelvic girdle. And this is a really great way to get into the hips, the lower back. You're going to feel it. You can even kind of like get the shoulders involved, the head and neck. So listening to your body, intuiting what you need, what might feel good for you today. Beautiful work, everyone. Let's slowly start to switch directions. Connie's a natural here. All right, so you can start to make those circles a little smaller. You're going to notice that play that happens. Just the weight shifts from one sit bone to the other, and then you're going to find that place where the weight is nice and even. So we come back to our mountain pose, our Tadasana. From here, let's release the arms by our sides. So you've got a little external rotation at the shoulder head. So it's kind of like you're spinning the palms almost like to face behind you. They're not going to go there. You're feeling that lift of your sternum. Just peek down at your feet again. Make sure that you've got those knees over ankles. And then we're going to inhale, reach out and up. And if that doesn't feel good, you could reach forward and up. And then spin your palms to face out. So we're internally rotating at the shoulder head. And then give yourself a little resistance as you press out and down. Let's do that again. Inhale, out and up. Maybe you even gaze up, press palms. Exhale, out and down. All right, so this time we're going to reach forward and up. So kind of just keeping that arm neutral as you exhale, reach forward and down. Again, inhaling forward and up. Exhale, forward and down. So spin those palms to face open again. Inhale, out and up. And you're going to probably be feeling a little heat. Spin the palms to face out, press out and down. Beautiful work, everyone. One more like that. Inhale, out and up. Reaching up, maybe gazing up. And then exhale, out and down. So just keep the shoulder head kind of neutral. Inhale, forward and up. Good. Exhale, forward and down. So this the shoulder socket is pretty amazing. We have quite a bit of movement. Inhaling, reaching forward and up. Exhale, reach forward and down. Beautiful. And then just give the arms like a little shake out. And wiggle the shoulders a little bit. And then let's go ahead and bring our hands back to our thighs. So now that we've warmed up the shoulder girdle, let's stretch out the neck a little bit. So as you exhale, you're going to drop your chin towards your chest. So we're stretching into the back of the neck. And this is like always kind of a surprising move to me. Sometimes a tiny, tiny little movement actually results in a pretty intense stretch. So if it feels like too much, if it feels like it's forcing you to constrict your breath, maybe lift the chin a little bit. So we're going to visit this position a few times. So starting out, you don't have to go for it. The shoulders love to help out here, especially if there's a little extra tension in your neck. So just observe if the shoulders are pressing up around your ears. If that's happening, you just imagine that somebody is just gently pressing down on your shoulders. And then maybe recommit to that idea of listening to your breath, that inhale through your nose, and that exhale through your nose. From here, let's inhale, lift our chin parallel to the floor. Lovely. And then as you exhale, you're just going to start to move towards gazing out over your right shoulder. And you might not get all the way there. You just kind of keep your gaze soft and gentle in front of you, wherever that may be. And you're getting curious about how the sensations in your neck may have changed. From here, you can start to tuck your chin. And this is where things are going to start to intensify a little bit. So again, you do as much or as little of that as feels right in your body. So yes, we want some sensation, but we always want to be mindful that we're not pushing it too far. A good indication of that is that your breath stays pretty nice and even. It doesn't get ragged. Probably feeling a little more sensation on the top of that left shoulder, the left side of the neck, those scalene muscles. If you feel like you'd like to play with a little more, maybe you release your left fingertips towards the floor. So we're just weighting the system a little bit with our arm and gravity. You can always try it out. If it feels okay, stick with it. If it feels bad, you just place that hand back on your thigh. And then if you wanted a little more still, maybe you start to lift your left arm. I didn't have to go very far before I started to get a lot more sensation, kind of in the outer upper left arm. Can almost feel like a little nervy stretch. Notice if you've started to hold your breath, keep it moving. All right, so let's exhale. If you've got that arm extended, you can just bring your hand back to your thigh. So we've got this chin tucked. Start to make that quarter turn back to the center. So chin dropping towards chest, back of the neck lengthening. Maybe it's already starting to feel a little different. Finding a little more space there. And then inhale, bring your chin parallel to the floor. Lovely. As we exhale, we're going to start to move towards looking out over that left shoulder. And you might not get all the way there. That's fine. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose. Maybe asking yourself how this side feels different. And then we start to intensify things by dropping your chin towards your chest. As you do that, observe if either shoulder gets involved, but probably this right one might want to. So again, just imagine that somebody is gently pressing down, giving you a little weight there. So for some of us, just changing the pose like this makes it pretty challenging, which means this is a good place to stay and breathe. If you're wanting to play with releasing your right fingertips towards the floor, you can try that out, kind of see where it shifts, where you're getting sensation. And then maybe you start to lift that right arm a little bit, which for me, it definitely goes into some interesting places. It's almost a little like nervy sensation, the underside of the arm, armpit, chest area. Trying to keep those shoulders releasing down. Good. You can release that right hand down. Take your hand back on your thigh, and then keeping your chin tucked, make that little quarter turn back to center. So here we are again, stretching into the back of the neck. So the cervical, thoracic spine. How does it feel in your body? Now that we've been here a couple times before, are you starting to find a little more ease, a little more space? It's also absolutely fine if the answer is still no. Some days we're just navigating a little more tension and stress. January. All right, so let's inhale here. Lift your chin. Good. Exhale. Bring your gaze in the direction of that right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, drop your chin. Inhale, chin lifts. Exhale, move towards gazing out over that left shoulder. Inhale back to center. So this is just like a little neck sun salute. As you exhale, chin drops towards chest. Inhaling, chin lifts. Exhale, move towards gazing out over that right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, chin drops to chest. Inhaling, lifting. Beautiful work. As you exhale, look out over that left shoulder. Good. Inhale back to center. Exhale, chin drops towards your chest. Inhale, chin comes parallel to the floor. And then one more time, just give those shoulders a little roll out. And maybe they're sounding a little less crunchy, hopefully. Might feel a little more opening, a little easier. Let's go ahead and kind of feel that idea again of shoulder heads pressing back, shoulder blades releasing down your spine, gently squeezing in towards each other, and then releasing your arms by your sides. So there's a little cobra pose in your upper body. You're sitting nice and tall. All right, so we're gonna inhale, take this left arm up and over. We're gonna lean a little bit to the right, beautiful. As you exhale, you release down. Inhale, right arm comes up and over. Side stretching to the left. Exhale, release down. Lovely. Inhaling. Up and over. Exhale, release. We all look like synchronized swimmers here. As you inhale, right arm comes up and over. Maybe you're even gazing up under that top arm a little bit if it feels okay. Exhale, release. So we're just going to continue like this. You're moving with your breath. You're letting this feel really graceful. You're trying to find space. It's so nice to stretch into the side body. For most of us, it feels pretty yummy. This is one of the reasons, I have about 1 million reasons I love yoga, but I feel like this is at the top of the list. This side body stretching that you don't seem to get in too many other activities. Let's go ahead and do a couple more to each side. And then we'll come into a hold. Maybe reconnect to that idea of your Ujjayi breath again. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. The next time you're leaning off to the right, let's just hang out there. Notice that your left sit bone might be popping up off your chair a little bit. So maybe you can anchor down there. That actually might intensify the stretch that you're getting through that left side of your body. And then there's a little bit of twist here. So you're wrapping those right ribs up towards the ceiling ever so gently. You might be gazing up underneath that top arm if it feels okay in your neck. Again, you can try it out. Skip it if it isn't working. And then you're trying to take nice, full, deep inhales, full, complete exhales. As you exhale, go ahead and release that left hand down. And then we take the second side. Inhale, right arm comes up and over. So side bending to the left. Using that right sit bone as an anchor. As you press there, you can extend through those right fingertips. And then there's a little bit of a twist happening here. Those left ribs rolling up to the ceiling. You might be bringing your gaze up underneath that top arm. Even here, can you relax the shoulders down a little bit? Good, deep inhale. And as you exhale, go ahead and release. And just take a couple of breaths here, maybe closing your eyes, so just finding your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Checking in with yourself. So we made it through about half of class. Energetically, how are things shifting for you? How's your body starting to feel different? Do you feel a little more focus and attention? Is the breath a little different? Good. So let's blink our eyes open. And as you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, you're going to take the arms out wide. So you can just have your palms facing forward. Deep inhale here, lengthen through both sides of your waist. Exhale, you're going to twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, we're going to twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Good, and then we're going to exhale, twist to the right. We're going to stay here on the inhale this time. So really reach through fingertips. It's like your giant bird with a big wingspan. And then as you exhale, you're going to release your hands down. So left hand could come to your left thigh or your right thigh. Right hand can grab a piece of chair or wall or something behind you. Could even come to that right hip. And then wherever your left hand is, you're kind of pressing against that. And it's going to help you to leverage that left shoulder head back and then wrap those left ribs to the right. And then you could move towards bringing your gaze out over that right shoulder. It might not get all the way there. That's fine. So another great reason to do yoga is this twisting, because this is also activity that we don't usually get a lot. It's really healthy for the spine. Gives all of the organs inside the body a little ring out. So let's do a little bit of both. So we're going to stay in the twist. You're going to reach your right hand out. And then you're going to take it up and over. So now we're doing a little twisting with a little side stretching. You can keep pressing that left palm into your left thigh or right thigh. You might be gazing up underneath that top arm. Breath is smooth and steady. Let's take a deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, you can start to untwist. You're going to give yourself a hug. Your right elbow is going to come on top of your left, and you can just find your shoulder blades with your fingers. And then sitting nice and tall here. Then maybe start to lift your elbows. So this is a really fantastic way to get into the shoulders. It can be quite intense. So you lower those elbows if you need to at any point. Breath smooth and steady. And then we're going to inhale, take the arms out and up. Exhale, they come out wide. Deep inhale here. Beautiful work. As you exhale, twist left. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale back to center. And then we exhale, twist left. Take a nice deep inhale here, really stretch out, find your giant wingspan. And then exhale, release your right hand down to either your right thigh or left thigh. Left hand can come behind you or to that left hip. Make sure your shoulders aren't scrunching up around your ears. You're pressing those shoulder heads back. And then those right ribs are gently wrapping to the left. You can start to bring your gaze in the direction of that left shoulder. It might not get all the way there. That's absolutely fine. Even as we're twisting the spine, we're trying to really lengthen through both sides of the waist. We're trying to sit nice and tall. And that can be challenging. So if it feels like you're slouching here, maybe back out of the twist a little bit. And then we're going to combine our twisting with our side stretching. So you can reach that left arm out and then bring it up and over, even as you're wrapping those right ribs to the left. Trying to keep shoulder blades releasing down here. So notice if the shoulders are scrunching up around your ears. Good, and then we're gonna exhale, unwind. We're gonna give ourselves that hug again. This time, left arm is on top. So the elbows stacking on top of each other. Spine nice and tall. And then you're lifting your elbows up towards the ceiling, any amount. And you're trying to do that without arching in the lumbar, the lower back. So you're sitting nice and tall. So it's more of a shoulder stretch. And shoulders can be really tight. We're all built a little different. So do less if you need to. Beautiful. This time, let's inhale, stretch the arms up. Lovely. As you exhale, you can turn those palms out. Releasing the arms down. So let's move into some of our half sun salutes. So if you do have blocks available, you could set those up on either side of your feet. They're certainly not necessary. So we'll kind of break this first one down. And we'll do a couple together. So just refreshing your Tadasana, your mountain pose shape. Again, just peek down, make sure that you have your knees over your ankles. So feet are about hips distance apart. You're really rooting into your sit bones. As you press there, you're finding all of this nice length through the sides of your waist. We're going to inhale, take the arms out and up or forward and up. So you have like a lot of license here to sort of choose what feels good. So we're in our extended mountain pose, Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana. From here, you might start to bring your gaze up, and you could imagine that somebody is gently tractioning you up by your wrists. You might even press your palms together. So a lot of times that's dictated by shoulder flexibility, but you could play with that. As we exhale, we have a couple of options here. We're going to fold all the way in. You could do a swan dive, or if you feel like you need a little support, you're just going to take your hands to your thighs and roll on down. So from here, your chin is dropping towards your chest. So we're getting that stretch into the back of the neck. But this time we're in this deep forward fold. So we're extending flexing the whole spine. As we inhale, we're going to kind of split the difference. So this is where your hands might come to blocks or shins or thighs. So you're lengthening through the sides of your waist. Elbows are gently squeezing in. You're feeling that lift of your sternum, and you're kind of just gazing in front of you. I had one teacher who always explained Ardha Uttanasana. She would always say, just kind of imagine that you're at the edge of a cliff, peeking over, but you don't want to fall over. All right, so from here, we fold back into our Uttanasana. So again, the challenge here is to really let the back of the neck lengthen. And then as you inhale, so you could do that reverse swan dive out. That's going to require a little core, or you simply use your hands to help you press up to a tall seat. Arms reach out and up, gaze up, press palms. And then as you exhale, you could pull your hands to heart center. You could take the arms out wide into heart center if that feels better in your body. So that was a slow Ardha Surya Namaskara. We're going to put it together, one movement per breath this time. So releasing your arms by your sides. Inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale through your nose, you fold all the way into your Uttanasana. Inhale, you lengthen into your Ardha Uttanasana. Lovely. As you exhale, you fold back in. And then rooting down, stretching the arms out and up. Maybe gazing up, pressing palms. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Beautiful. So we've got a couple more of these. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, you fold in, really listening to your breath. Inhaling, you lengthen forward. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down, rooting into your sit bones, your feet to rise all the way up. Maybe gazing up. And as you exhale, hands come to heart center. So it's always just fun to flow through these without me talking and being annoying. So we're going to just do that. You're going to move with your breath. You can close your eyes if you know these really well. You can follow along with me. Here I am talking. So let's do 3 of these. Let them feel good. Let them feel graceful. And you can't do them wrong. Beautiful work. There is absolutely no rush. When you're done with your 3rd round, you're just pausing in your mountain pose, palms together at your heart, eyes closed. You're noticing how you feel here. So sun salutes build heat in the body. I think sun salutes build happiness in the body. It's hard to be grumpy after a few sun salutes. Try as we might. You might notice that your breath has sped up a little bit. Maybe the heart's beating a little faster. Might feel like you're sitting a little taller. Good. Go ahead and blink your eyes open here. You can release your hands down to your thighs. So let's just get into the hips a little bit before we move into some breath work. So a couple of options here. Option one is, of course, you can just keep your legs exactly as they are. If you're wanting a little hip stretch, you might externally rotate this right leg, and you can go as far as feels good. So in this version, in addition to getting into the glute, the outer hip, you're going to also get a little stretch in the groin, the inseam of the leg. If it's available to you, option 3 would be to cross your right ankle above your left knee. And that's definitely going to target more of the outer hip, the glute area. Both are good variations. It's good to mix and match them, because like I said, they're doing slightly different things, and they're both pretty intense. So we're just going to take a couple of breaths here. We're going to visualize our exhale going to this outer right hip area. Particularly if your hips are feeling a little extra tight today, this can be pretty challenging. So the breath might get a little ragged. Try to keep it smooth and steady. And of course, always do a little less if you need to. If you are in a place where you feel like you could use a little more, if you're in this variation that I'm doing, you might take your right hand into that right thigh and gently press that thigh down to the floor. So it's like just giving yourself a little adjustment, a little extra. Conversely, if you're in more of this warrior 2 version, you could take your hand using the strength of that arm, you're going to press the leg back. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. And then finally, the last little piece here, again, this is optional, but if you feel like you'd like to intensify things a little further, maybe you start to hinge forward into a forward fold. So hands could be resting anywhere on your legs. You could have a wall or a table in front of you, use that. You could use your blocks if you have them. And so we're trying to heighten the sensation a little bit, but if it's too much, back out. And always try these poses here and then make adjustments. Some days they work, some days they're really, really intense. We've got a few more good breaths. As you inhale, you take that forward fold. You can use your hands to help you come out. And then we're going to come into our second side. So uncrossing that right ankle or bringing the leg in. This side might look different. You could be doing a different variation on this side. That's fine. So finding a little external rotation. You just kind of play with how far you want to go. Or you can take that left ankle above your right thigh. You do want to make sure, especially in this version that I'm doing right now, that you're not getting any sensation in the knee. So if that's the case, it might be better to do the warrior 2 leg. Another strategy is to really flex your left foot, and that's going to engage the muscles around the knee to help protect that joint. Let me just take a few breaths here, kind of sussing out this side in your body. How does it feel as compared to the other side? Usually in the hips, there's one that's significantly tighter. Not always. And then just being exactly where you are might be enough. If you feel like you'd like a little more, maybe you give yourself that little self-adjustment. So either pressing down into the thigh or back with your left hand. And then final little variation here. If you wanted to hinge forward any amount, I cannot go very far on this side today. Again, hands resting on blocks or a table in front of you, or just somewhere on your legs, that works. Beautiful. As you inhale, you can start to upright yourself, uncross that left ankle or bring that leg in. Come back to your mountain pose here. Take a couple of breaths. Again, just check in, noticing how you're feeling. And then we're going to keep this shape. Go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to move into our 4-part breath, our box breath. And so this is just kind of a nice calming breath. You can do it anytime you're feeling a little anxious. So let's all take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Full complete exhale through the nose. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I invite you to do 3 or 4 more rounds of that on your own. You can change the count if that feels better for you. If you're not feeling the breath work today, you could just sit quietly. Good. And then when you feel complete, you're going to let go of that breath work. And we're going to move towards a final resting pose. So probably not a lot is going to change. You're going to stay exactly where you are. But the feeling tone is going to be a little different. You're inviting in this sense of relaxation and rest after the work we've done together. You're inviting your body and brain to assimilate that work that we've done and to put it all together. We're kind of just creating a bookend here at the end of our class as we transition into the rest of the day ahead of us. And last but not least, you're just soaking up these final moments that we have together, drinking in the stillness. Shavasana. Asato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityo ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Let your next inhale be deeper. And open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And just start to bring some movement back to your body. So circle ankles, wrists, wiggle fingers, toes, stretch out. Oh, anything that feels good here. And then you'll eventually land with your hands in a pile on top of your heart. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for making the effort. We send each other love and gratitude for the community, the support. And finally, just promise us that you're going to carry this good feeling with you into the rest of the day, week, weekend ahead. And bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today. Thank you.